Honorable His Excellency Minister of Industry and Trade of Vietnam, ASEAN Minister of Energy and delegates, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. May we all be bestowed with peace and grace. Before we begin, let us commence our meeting today by rendering our most profound thanks and praise to Almighty God, as by His grace and blessings we could gather here today for the ASEAN Business Forum 2020, which is held in conjunction with the 38th ASEAN Ministers on Energy meetings and its related meetings. Indonesia's current energy utilization is dominated by coal and oil. In 2019, the total energy consumption was 0.8 ton oil equivalent per capita, while the electricity consumption was 1,084 kilowatt-hour per capita. Within the year's national energy mix, coal utilization reached 37% and oil 33%, while renewable energy utilization hit already 9.15%. As fossil-based fuel reserve gets depleted and the global trend is shifting into renewable energy, Indonesia has been working hard to develop new and renewable energy sector. The share in the national energy mix by 2025 is expected to reach 23%, and we are going to increase to 31% in 2050. Despite that circumstances, by the year of 2019, Indonesia was placed 33rd in the rank of the ease of doing business by the World Bank survey, a notable improvement from the 109 position in 2016. Also in the year of 2019, our country placed 33 in the rank of getting electrification. Indonesia's oil and gas investment potential are huge and widely open for upstream exploration to processing and trading in the downstream industry. We have reserves of crude oil around 3.7 billion barrels and 77 TSGF for natural gas. Even though the reserves are not significant compared to the world reserves, Indonesia still has 68 of potential unexplored basins offered for the investors. Between the years of 2017 and 2019, the government has established 17 new oil and gas working areas. Most of them are located in Sumatra. The total value of exploration and exploitation commitments of all 17 areas are $411 million, with total signature bonus of $55.6 million. The government continues to make effort to maintain the positive development of oil and gas investment and business-related activities, among others by issuing the regulation concerning form and flexibility of production sharing contract, making policy adjustments, providing incentives, both fiscal and non-fiscal, as well as simplifying the licensing process, strengthening data and study through partnership with international research survey institutions, encouraging oil companies to implement good reservoir management, maintain operational efficiency, and utilize technologies such as EOR and also biochemical surfactants. Optimizing domestic gas utilization, Indonesia has targeted that gas will take 22% of its share in the energy mix by 2025 and then increase by 24% by 2050. Gas becomes the future of green energy together with renewable energy resources. While on the downstream side, the government of Indonesia continues to enhance the infrastructure development. For instance, the acceleration of completion of the 4 refinery development master plan and 2 grassroots refineries. The development of gas pipeline infrastructure, especially 3 gas pipeline transmission, namely TAI in West Natuna Transportation System, Semengke Dumai, and Cirebon Semarang. These gas pipeline transmissions are dedicated to meet domestic demand, especially for industry as well as also for the power plant. LNG small-scale and virtual pipeline development. In our effort to reach the oil lifting of 1 million barrel oil per day in 2030, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources has developed a set of strategies. This consists of, the first is prioritizing a massive and intensive exploration strategy. The second, encouraging and campaigning for the implementation of EOR in the mature fields. The third, accelerating monetization of major projects, thereby accelerating potential resources into the lifting. Last but not least, the implementation of the latest technology and also simplification, continue for simplification and flexibility of the procurement. Another highlight in our effort to keep the oil and gas positive development is the gas price reduction program. Starting in April this year, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources has decided that the natural gas process should be lowered to an average of US$6 per MMBTU at the consumer plant gate. Reduction, this price is also applied to the cost of the transportation and the distribution, while gas infrastructure will be continued to be developed. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move into the issue of renewable energy development in the country. The pandemic situation forces economic activities to slow down. Renewable energy development could be an answer to revive the economy post-COVID. For renewable energy development is proven in some areas in the world to help building economy of the communities around. Ladies and gentlemen, energy sector was targeted to reduce greenhouse gas emission 314 million tons of CO2 reduction by 2030 as stated in the government regulation number 79 in 2014 on national energy policy, and also the other regulation number 22 of 2017. This is of General Plan of National Energy. In achieving this target, mitigation have been performed in energy sectors. One, diverting fuel subsidy budget for productive activities. Example is the infrastructure. The second is targeting renewable energy portion for 23% in 2025, and the third is developing waste to energy project in some cities. Indonesia has a firm commitment to reduce gas emission reduction and its emission and to decarbonize energy sectors. Such strong will is implemented by the ratification of the Paris Agreement. The law stipulated Indonesia's first nationally determined contribution, which consists the target from the sectors of energy, waste, electricity, agriculture, and forestry. The NDC energy target for 2030 is 29%. This is equivalent with 314 million tons of CO2, with its own business, and then to be 41% with international assistance by conditional mitigation scenario. Up until 2019, NDC in the energy sector has reached 61 million tons of CO2 equivalent, achieved with the following effort: energy efficiency, renewable energy using low carbon fuels, the use of clean generation technology, and also post-mining reclamation. Since 2011, Indonesia has committed to support mitigating greenhouse gas emission as well as low carbon development. As a concrete means, the National Development Planning Agency has formed the Low Carbon Development Indonesia to make sure low carbon development is planned and then implemented well, both in municipal and also national levels. Developing renewable energy in Indonesia is always based on the National Development Plan. Within the course of 2020 to 2024, we plan to accelerate renewable projects development and therefore opening opportunities to potential investors. By 2024, we plan to have the installed capacity of renewable energy of almost 20 gigawatt, with total cumulative development then of 9.05 megawatt. The government of Indonesia encouraged the growth of renewable and electricity business. Since 2017 until this year, There are 72 projects of independent power producer that have signed the PPA, the Power Purchase Agreement, with our state-owned electricity (PLN), with total capacity of 771 MW. Among them, 20 projects are on progress to reach financial closure. These projects are easily the one future investor can look up for the potential collaboration. For hydro, for example, the hydropower projects in the future, we plan to develop hydropower plants in North Kalimantan with goals of 90 MW in 2025. The region's total hydropower development potential is 3.3 GW, which means there are plenty of potential future projects waiting to be utilized here. Meanwhile, as one of the most densely populated countries in ASEAN, Indonesia also holds so many potential for waste-to-energy program. There are currently 12 cities spread in Indonesia's major islands that are the location of waste-to-energy acceleration program. Aside of that, Indonesia also proud that we have succeeded in implementing the B30 mandatory program. The program is fully supported by related entities, both government and businesses. Up until now, the B30 mandatory has been running in the sectors of transportation, industry, electricity, and also in the mining. As for the energy efficiency programs, investment in the energy efficiency sector serves as the initial basis for being able to produce a more efficient use of energy. Until the mid-October 2020, the total energy efficiency investment that has been achieved in 2020 is 120 billion Indonesian rupiah, with a total of energy saving close to 2,240 GWh. One of the success factors in implementing energy efficiency is the application of the investment grade audit and the implementation of ISO 50001. In electricity provisioning to reach 100% of national electrification ratio, the government has set policy directions on electricity supply. It is in line with the national development objectives in the electricity sector, that is to ensure the availability of sufficient quantity of electricity in good quality and also in the reasonable prices. The policy directions is specifically categorized into 6 different groups. There are for power generation, transmissions, substation, distribution, rural electricity, and also for the smart grids. As an effort to provide better electricity for the people, the government has launched 35 GW electricity development program in 2014. Building power generation plants with total capacity of 35 GW is not an easy task. Therefore, we are working extremely hard and strong, as well as welcoming future investors to come join us in this program. The regions are in Sumatra, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Java, Madura, and Bali, Nusa Tenggara, and the rest Maluku and Papua. The transmission segments that are open for investment are divided into 4 segments. The first, West Medan, Pangkalan Susu, Arun, Sidi. The second, Perawang to Rantau Prapa to Galang, Sumatra Java interconnection. And the last, Wotu Bungku Andowia to Kendari. So that all from Indonesian updates, Indonesia is having abundant potential waiting to be developed maximally. Energy is no longer viewed as a mere commodity but has been considered as one of economic driver. However, we cannot work alone as energy transition challenges need your support both nationally and international cooperation. The COVID-19 pandemic has given us obstacles in various sectors and subsectors of energy. Then again, an obstacle will forever be a hindrance if we only see it as a problem. Only when we shift our paradigm and see it as an opportunity, we can then formulate strategies and set the steps to follow up the situation. I secretly hope that forums and discussion like we are continuously doing within the ASEAN framework, especially under the ASEAN Energy Business Forum, will be useful in opening up our way of thinking in facing various challenges in the midst of this energy transition. Thank you.